Trust in yourself. And if your gut tells you that it's right, follow your gut. Trust in your team because they will help you go forward. It's better to win together than by yourself. Wait a minute. You're going to work from home. You're going to work around your child's schedule and you're going to charge me the same price. And I was like, yes, I can assure you that I will give you the best product that is available I can do. Being in the industry that I was allowed me to pivot to become a stay-at-home parent, which it's a very challenging thing to do. At the time, I was the main breadwinner.
My guest today is Paul Wirth, founder of Custom Wirth. Paul brings over 2 decades of experience helping businesses simplify IT, strengthen security, and use technology to truly support growth. So let's welcome Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Very good. Thank you very much for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you being a guest on here. I'm anxious to hear your story. I know you've got a lot to share, but let's start with, tell me a little bit about Custom Wirth, what it is that your company does.
So the easy way to explain what Custom Wirth does is we are a technology consulting company. We talk to clients, we figure out what type of needs they have. We try to address their issues using technology. And because we have such a diverse client base, we have a lot of solutions available.
So, okay, let's rewind for just a moment. Talk about your backstory, like how or why you got into building this business, Custom Wirth.
I worked in IT for many years, out of college, got a job in technology, and my spouse, we had a child, and Custom Wirth became my ability to consult while becoming a stay-at-home dad.
So if you had to describe your entrepreneurial journey so far, like give me 3 words that would define what you've experienced so far in your journey.
Ooh, all right. 3 words. It's hard, very challenging and rewarding. I can see the little things that I'm doing each time, and then the reward is you complete it.
So Paul, what's one skill from your life outside of the business that surprisingly helps you as an entrepreneur?
Outside, I would honestly say participating in sports.
Okay.
Conflict resolution, the challenge, the excitement, the compassion that comes from enjoying what you're doing. And when you enjoy what you do, it directly impacts how you work as well.
So going back to your story, though, was there a specific moment or breaking point that really pushed you to start your business? I know you said it was having a child and wanting to be, but was there something going on in your previous job that really pushed you over and said, you know what? No, I'm going to do this on my own and I can do it better?
Genuinely, in my situation, came down to there was a health issue from my spouse when she had my daughter. And being in the industry that I was allowed me to, one, pivot to become a stay-at-home parent, which it's a very challenging thing to do. And at the time, I was the main breadwinner. But again, the drive that happened with that is I was working 60, 70, 80 hours, 7 days a week, depending on when the client would call. And that investment and the time that I was spending there had nothing to do with what I could do back at the house. And when I went home and really looked at things and said, taking care of this is the best investment that I could do for myself and my family. And I turned and peacefully walked away from my career and started up Custom Wirth.
I love it. So a little bit unique, in my opinion, from the standpoint, you're the breadwinner. And I don't know if this is far stretched or not, but to hear a male taking the opportunity to be the stay-at-home dad or to be the main caretaker or to want to shift gears in order to pursue a family-first mentality, I would venture to say it's a little unique. And certainly it sounds like it was scary from the standpoint that you were the breadwinner. But what made you decide that you, the breadwinner, would choose to stay home versus your wife at that time? I mean, this was what, 20 plus years ago?
Well before we had become pregnant. We were living as dual incomes without kids. And when she ended up having a high risk pregnancy, we really had to sit down and say, what's the best solution for our family? And her health benefits provided more leniency than what mine did. So we were able to sit down and say, the most expensive item we can afford with the lowest amount of income that we bring in, but yet not have to pay for childcare because it's directly related to how much time you have available. The more help you need to try and work, in turn, costs you more money. Well, if we can combine it and say the more time that you're at home saves you money, allowed us to do that.
Interesting. So, talk to me a little bit about the word scary and, kind of draw us back to the very beginning. What was that first 3 months like? You quit your job, stable income. Now you're dealing with a family and the weight of growing a business. But what was that first 3 months like? And what did you do in those first 3 months to establish yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. For the first 3 months, unique situation. My primary focus was to be a father first. And I did not have any knowledge to run a business by myself. But I knew what I did in my professional skill set was very, very useful. It was also very niche. So the first month out of working for someone else, I had clients reach out to me from referrals. And I would say, these are my terms. When my child takes a nap, I will work for you remotely. Unfortunately, I'm going to charge you the same whether I'm remote or in person. And what ended up happening was I was interviewed by a client and they said, wait a minute, you're going to work from home. You're going to work around your child's schedule and you're going to charge me the same price. And I was like, yes, that's the way it works. And I can assure you that I will give you the best product that is available that I can do. And if you need help on the weekends or you need help after hours, I will definitely do that. And surprisingly, the client returned to me and said, not only are we going to hire you, but we're going to refer you to our clients and our investors as well, because we are small businesses. And if you're willing to put your family first, we know you're going to treat us the same way. And that started the whole referral system based on placing family first.
Going back to what you just said, when you started first 3 months, you're like, I didn't know anything about business. Talk to me about, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that really don't know anything about business, but they have these great ideas. What was it that you did, or what process to gain that knowledge and understanding of what a good business owner looks like and how to operate your business? I'm sure there's a lot of micro and maybe macro pitfalls that you came against, but talk to me about, what was that learning process like? How did you gather your knowledge?
I was fortunate and had some friends and associates that had multiple businesses, and I leaned on their experience. I took it upon myself to do research. There were programs at the time from the government. Here's how you run your books. Here's how you apply for your legal, and here's some resources that you could find for an accounting person to help you run your business. Then established an attorney, established an accountant, sat down with them and said, this is what my game plan is. And they said, write a business plan and come back to us. And from there, I use their professional services to really align mine with the direction I wanted to go with my business using their knowledge. And then I just went from there.
So where are you at today? You started off as a solo one-man show with a baby. You took your clients during nap hour and you provided the best service possible. It was 20 years ago. Fast forward to today. What does your company look like? How many employees do you have working for you?
We have 4 full-time employees, have over 150 clients throughout Michigan. Um, Many of our clients actually have their corporate headquarters here, but various locations across the US. Um, we do not publish um, or advertise. It's all referral based, pure word of mouth.
So was there ever a moment in your journey that you just wanted to simply give up?
Oh, absolutely. Um, so one of the things that I learned was when I was doing it just by myself, I couldn't take a vacation. I could not be sick um, because if I wanted to travel, my clients went down. I had nobody to help me out. And so I started traveling with bringing all my tools. And that was a really big challenge. Um, to try and enjoy a family vacation while you're on the phone or taking a call or having to step away all the time really changed the focus. Um, and as I started growing the company, as my daughter got older, I would start taking on bigger clients and bigger risks. And then I was, again, trading my time for money, but trying to find that fair balance was very difficult. There were many times where I just wanted to take a break, but I couldn't.
What's one mistake that you may have made early on that taught you a lesson that you still carry through today?
Taking on too much work for myself and not delegating out that work. As a consultant, I come into a business and we look for efficiency. Um, and I was inherently not being efficient with my time. And because I was so used to doing it by myself, when you start bringing on employees and trying to delegate out those tasks that are routine, I didn't have the patience to wait. I didn't have a training program established. So I was catching myself by saying, in one manner, I'm so busy. And in the next manner, I'm like, I need to train someone. And I just would take on more and more and more. But by learning, you find the right team and you embrace their skill sets. Their skill
Mhm.
sets should increase your productivity and it should also increase your ability to expand.
Yeah, so talking about increasing productivity, let's talk AI for a minute. How has AI impacted your business or the IT industry, both either positively or negatively?
AI has presented challenges and rewards. One of the things that we see for our clients is the adoption of AI makes things easier to be acquired. The knowledge or the steps or the procedures come pretty quickly after you type in a string. However, there's not that questionability of, is this actually right? It removes that human element, whereas there's not a team building session going on. You're not bouncing ideas off of the AI. You're just getting an answer. And I think directly that prohibits or reduces the ability to encourage creative thinking for ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, Taking the time to pick up a book and read the background of something to give you the knowledge gives you repeatable knowledge versus just typing in a string, how do I do this? And
Right.
then there's just a monotone response. Whereas being able to create and encourage thought allows that to proceed forward. I guess that's a little wordy, but um, I like to have the human interaction because that is where the relationship comes from.
Well, that seems to be very much in line with a lot of people I've spoken with is that AI, yes, is great. However, just like you said, it's hindering our ability to think on our own and to react on our own. Now, talking about relationships, are you a mentor, or let me phrase it this way. Are there things that you are actively doing to pass your knowledge on to that next generation to carry the torch forward for you and for technology in general?
Creating SOPs. It's a training, it's a routine, it's writing down your ideas to be able to reference that and teaching yourself to take the time to spend that with your employees, to train them on what they should do. And at the same time, be humble enough to listen to your employees' ideas to say, this could be more efficient because we're on the same team.
And who is your mentor going through all this? I know you said you relied on some family, friends, and business owners. Was there one person in your life that you really stuck out as a good leader that you aspired to follow? And
it wasn't that I had a mentor. It was the situation that I was coming from drove the desire to change my situation. I came from an inner city, low income, high risk areas. And when you see friends and family struggle, I didn't, my biological father was not a part of my life and passed away when I was in high school. I did not have that leadership role. I just looked around and said, this is not what I want. And that encouraged me to say, I have to have that change in my life and just try until I figure something out that worked and put me in a better situation.
So where do you foresee your business in 10 or 20 years? Is this something that you will eventually maybe pass on to your daughter? Or is this something that you foresee yourself never really retiring from? Or where do you see yourself in the future with Custom Wirth?
I do have a child, and she's in college now. We had a very good conversation. I understand that her career path is her choice. So I have this company, but I'm not going to necessarily give it to my child because that was her choice, and I respect that. So the legacy of my company did come into play of saying, well, I've worked so hard to create this brand, but I don't have anyone to give it to. I think that in turn is to give to the employees. It's something of saying you work hard, you receive good rewards. And as we grow, we are a family focused, family first, small business. It's what has allowed us to succeed. And I believe the team all grows together. And as things go on, we could be acquired by a larger organization. However, I don't think I would just stop working.
If you could turn back the clock and tell your younger self something, and maybe share some knowledge, tell future
thing that we have, you could be even more successful doing it on your own. We cannot go back in the past. We can't make those changes. So take what we have now and use it to the fullest.
Paul, thank you so much for your time today. And as we wrap up, I just want to ask you one last question. And being in business for yourself for 2 decades now, you've acquired a lot of information, but what would be a really nice piece of leadership advice that you'd give to the person listening to this show today?
Trust in yourself. And if your gut tells you that it's right, follow your gut. Also to remain humble. And when you have a team, trust in your team because they will help you go forward. And collectively, it's better to win together than by yourself.
Very well said. All right. Once again, how do we reach Paul at Custom Wirth. Give me a shout out.
You can reach us at www.customworth.com, or feel free to email info@customworth.com as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Founders Hustle. I would absolutely love to know what resonated with you the most from today's guest. Go ahead and drop me a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Also, if there's a future topic that you'd like me to touch on, go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. But no matter where you're watching or streaming your favorite shows, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media. Tell a friend about this. I would love the support. But in the meantime, keep living, keep growing, and keep hustling, because you are meant to do great things. See you next week.